Okay, good morning, everyone. So, for our week number one, day one to four, for our day one, on in the inquiries, investigation, and the immersion, the first topic that we will be talking for this session is on the brainstorming for research topics. So, what are the expectations for the brainstorming of this topic? This supplementary learning material will help you to prepare a plan and focus on issues and ideas in a given field of study. Specifically, this learning material will allow you to first analyze the research task, choose the broad and specific research topic, and formulate research question and identify potential resources. Okay, you will answer pre-test for A, B, and C. No. Now, if you are in the an at online class and you can access the Google form that is provided to you by your teacher, you can answer through Google form. But if you are not online learner, you can use a paper or the module that is being provided, answer only. So for the pretest direction for letter A, write A if the topic written below is narrow and B if it is broad. Write your answer in separate sheet of paper. Same with the letter B direction, identify the type of research shown in the research topic below. Write A if it is qualitative and B if it is quantitative. Write your answer on a separate sheet of paper. Same with letter C direction, write the below various research questions. Identify if they're specific to general question. Right? A for specific and B for general research question. Again, no need to answer class kung kayo po ay nakakapag-access ng Google Form. If you can able to access the Google Form, it's so easy. All the activities, all the quizzes, all the pre-tests, exercises is in the Google Form. If you can access. Now, kung hindi kaya makapag-access dahil walang internet sa bahay, wala talaga, you can use your paper and get the module or watch this video. Okay. Now, so going back to the previous discussion, if you remember during your uh, research one and research two, you can answer all the pre-test, no? Correctly. Now, for our D1, you have to answer the looking back, no? The direction is to arrange the research process below to be able to help you in planning for research topic. Write 1 to 7 on the space inside the box. So you just identify kung alin dyan ang number 1, alin dyan ang number 2, number 7. This is a practice exercise, no? For you to refresh on the topic that was discussed during your research 1 and research 2. Same with the letter B activity, analyze this illustrative situation below and answer the question that follow. Okay, for figure one, illustration for analysis. Okay, so as you can see the picture, you will answer the guide questions provided here, no? For example, number one, describe what you see from the illustration. What you see from the illustration. Dito po sa picture na ito, ano po ang ating nakikita dyan sa picture na yan? Do you think that this situation warrant an investigation? Why or why not? Suggest possible outcome for the particular situation found in the illustration. Okay, moving on is our discussion for today. Okay, this is just only a brief introduction. Now, because it's already discussed during your research one and research two, let's have a sort of review. So in research approaches, we have two, no? The qualitative and the quantitative. And then in a modern time, we also use the so-called mixed method. Now, during the mixed method, we can combine the qualitative and then the quantitative. So let us have a review. What is a qualitative research? Qualitative research involves data, gathering, analyzing, and interpreting based on observation made about the participant of the study. According to Criswell 2003, this process involved drafting question and procedure, collecting data based on participant setting, analyzing data from specific to general, and making interpretation of the meaning of the data. Example. So, ano example ng qualitative? Case study. No? This is an example or type of a qualitative research. Narrative and phenomenological researches. Take note with the keywords. No? Sa qualitative, we try to interpret data through observation. Yan, i-highlight natin yan, no? So, pwede natin i-highlight ito. And then, another word na kailangan natin pansinin pag qualitative. Okay, aside from observation of the participant, we have to analyze data from specific to general. Okay, from specific to general. Now, another one thing is what we call the quantitative research. The quantitative research, on the other hand, geared toward measuring hypotheses using a statistical tool. It is more objective than the qualitative research, no? Mas objective ang quantitative kasi sa quantitative very objective siya. Hindi katulad kay qualitative na subjective. Of course, if you look into the details of difference between the qualitative and quantitative, napakadali lang tingnan, no? Una, pinagkaibahan nila si qualitative description, no? Description, describing. So, pag nag-describe ka through your observation, you use word. While on the other hand, ang quantitative, you try to measure. No? When we say measure, sinusukat. So, pag nagsusukat tayo, hindi tayo gumagamit ng words. We are using numbers. So, interpretation, we use numbers, data. While on the qualitative, we use the so-called the numerical description, okay, of a certain study. Now, example of researches that can generate numerical data, for example, survey, okay, example, descriptive, no, is an example of quantitative research. Finally, mixed method research involve the integration of both qualitative and quantitative approaches. In planning your research, it is important that you choose the most appropriate approach what you want to do. Napaka-importante yun na dapat tayo ay marunong kung ano ang ating gagamitin, qualitative o quantitative na research approach. So, after choosing what type approach, we will now come to research planning. Every time you ask a question and you look for a reliable fact to answer a question, whether the question is as simple as finding the cheapest brand of mobile phone to buy or as complex understanding the origin of life, you are already doing research. Everything, I tell you, everything you ask, when there is a question and you find the answer, that is already doing a research. It is important to take into consideration a lot of things in planning research. The first thing is to do is to choose your research topic. Yan ang una. Ha? Dapat tandaan nyo, pag kayo ay kunin nyo muna ang research topic. Ano ba ang inyong aaralin? This is the first step in designing and planning your research. The research topic that you and your team should choose must be of interest. Now, take note with the keyword interest to you. You will not choose study, you will not choose a research that is not aligned with you or that is not within your interest of boundaries. Okay? So, mahirap yun pag-aralan. Ang hindi mo naman gusto at mahirap din pag-aralan yung tinatawag natin hindi mo naman kaya. Okay? So, dapat dun sa gusto mo at then ang topic mo ay related sa iyo at interesado ka. Okay? Although this may seem be like a common sense, it is necessary to remind yourself that a researchers engage in research because they have a genuine interest in the field that they choose. Your basic curiosity about the topic you have chosen would provide sufficient motivation for you to pursue your research according to Markix et al. 2005. In planning for a particular topic in your field of interest, you can also consider looking at a research problem. Okay? After your research, you have established your research topic, you will now, the next step is to establish the research problem. The question, what is the problem? What is the question that needs to be solved? Start with the problem that you see at home, in the school, and even the community. I remember, meron na grupo ng mga ES student that was way back 2018, 2000, no, 2017. Their study is that why are there senior high school students, no, na nalilate yung pagdating sa punctuality. And then yung strand talaga nila ang maraming nalilate yung mga automotive servicing ng, oh no, by face-to-face. So they try to survey. Survey nga lang ang ginamit nila eh. Nakita nila na doon sa research na yon kung ano ang mga rason bakit ang estudyante nalilate. Okay? So that is, no? It should have to related to you, no? Previously conducted researches can be a source of ideas in drafting your research plan. Actually, ako kasi pag in my case, I suggest you find literature first before you conduct a study. But you have to establish a topic. Dapat meron kayong topic and then gather a literature. Okay? You have to gather the literature. Finally, theories can serve as a good source of research ideas. The function of rich source of the hypothesis that can be examined through survey or experimentation. To summarize, researchers' interest and curiosity problems that need to be solved to the previous researches. Okay, moving on. From a topic to question to hypothesis. That's it. That's the formula. When you try to plan, when you try to brainstorm a certain topic, this is the formula. From topic to question to hypothesis. That's the secret. No? Cycle lang yan. No? Engage in research studies in exciting and rewarding endeavor for you to be able to create good research plan. Of course, choose your topic first. Choose your topic of interest. Pick any topic appropriate to your field or your specialization. Second, be smart. Make sure to follow the SMART rule. Specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bounded. In research, this is very important because you will not be a successful researcher if you were unable to provide a perfect plan with the use of SMART. Third, question your topic. This should not be done just one, no, not twice, not thrice. You have to think thoroughly. Throughout the research project, ask how and why questions that you intend to answer in your research. Dapat meron ka ng topic, tanungin mo, bakit mo nare-research yan? Then evaluate your question. You may find that not all answers can be so useful. With this, make sure to evaluate your question and remove those that would unlikely provide good answer, according to Turobian 2013. Then propose some working answer. Think plausible answer. As much as possible, when you are conducting a research, think a positive, think what is your next step. Okay? Of course, evaluate always your question. Fifth, propose some working answer. So sometimes hypothesis talaga is a very good uh, proposal of answers for some worker who was deployed, no? Yung mga natatanggal sa trabaho. Pwede malaking kita sa research, no? And then propose some working answer, decide in a working hypothesis. Number 7, beware of the risk of your working hypothesis. Do not settle on your working hypothesis as your final answer. Kaya nga yung iba meron tinatawag na alternative hypothesis. Your working hypothesis become at risk if it blinds you to better answer or if you give up even if your evidence says you. Okay. Number 8, if you can find the answer, argue your question. A good question makes a good answer, but a wrong question does not what? Does not acquired with a thorough review. Okay? So a good question should have a good answer, but a bad question or an inappropriate question may lead to incorrect answer. Build a storyboard to plan or guide your work. I suggest if you are conducting a research, you may have a Gantt chart, no? A Gantt chart where you will try to plan what is your steps, what will you do for your research topic, and you have to meet with one another through Google Meet. Please invite me so that I can observe during your brainstorming. Now, storyboard plan is important. Well, the director, he know where and will be to shot na. And then organize everything. So for our activity, answer only activity 1. So for activity 1, analyze your research task. Direction. Analyze the example of a research task below and identify the important factors that you need to consider when you are a teacher, you have a research assignment. You may write the answer on a separate paper. Again, may I repeat to you, answer only. And you have to answer activity 1, which is analyzing your research task. Moving on is your activity number 2. In the regular program, day 2 ito, bali. Okay, for activity 2, choose your research topic. Now, this is now your time to choose a research topic. So, dito sa baba, makikita nyo, topic, blended modular learning. Okay, what are the subtopic? Problems related to blended and modular learning, difficulties in blended modular learning due to the internet connectivity, challenges faced by students and teachers in a blended modular learning. So that is our week 1, day 1. Okay. Moving on for our week 1, day 2 is all about formulating a research question. Now that you have planned, now that you have a peace talk between Russia and Ukraine, of course, you will now try to formulate the research question or the research topic under Unified Supplementary Learning Materials for grade number 12. Now, direction for activity 3, choose one topic from the box below and formulate potential. So you have to use the 5 W's and each the what, where, when, how, okay? When you try to formulate a question. So, what is our topic for tonight? Okay. Of course, the senior high school amid COVID-19 pandemic, then the social media and education, and then number 8, coping strategies of student taking the blended learning. Okay, next is, of course, formulate your draft or journal to specific research questions that you may use for your chosen research field. Tingnan ninyo, kasi baka naman mas mahal pagdating pa sa Manila. Now, direction. Formulate your draft or general and specific research question that you may use for your research topic. Now, para hindi kayo mahirapan, you have to look into what is the need of the society now. Di ba? Of course, kain, pagmamahal, at saka tiwala. No? But in this case, you have to answer the WH question. Now, activity 4, you have to answer this. Identifying specific topic of searches like books, software, website that may use for your research. You may use printed materials like books, newspaper, or online materials, social media, blog, software, other sources of what we are talking for today. Now, to continue for our day number 2 is what? Of course, improvement of physical appearance and saka physical virtues. Okay? Now, moving on, things to remember. There are 3 types of research. Okay, there are 3 types. The qualitative, the quantitative, and the mixed method. Okay. Now, it is important to analyze the research task given by your teacher. So, this is a group activity. Sana, hindi lang si Ezra, for example, ang makakakuha ng mataas na punto. Since this is a group work or group activity. Okay. Remember, during our day 1, we discussed the types of research approaches, namely the qualitative, the quantitative, and the mixed method. So, ayan. Direction. Identify the topic from the sample research question below and formulate an appropriate research title. So, hanapin nyo yan. You try this and you try to answer 1, 2. Okay, kaya naman. Okay, let us try to read the material that I provided. Okay. Or yeah, that's for week 1. Now let's come now to week 5 PDF format. Oh, it's already time. We'll continue this next meeting. Thank you so much for attending the lecture.